Well, I had a little break there, but in any case, um, you can push these together and they won't contact each other. So you can have positive here, negative here, right track, left track, inside, outside, whatever, and you'll be okay. So each wheel can pick up energy and bring it in. Now, when these four wheels pick up, these don't, but when these four do, they have a space. You can see that space between the black spacer and the brass wheel, little gap. And what I do is I push a little piece of wire into that position to rub on the axle as it rolls down the track. And that little piece of wire is very particular. It's beryllium copper, and it's not expensive, but it's hard to get. And it carries energy quite well. It's chrome plated, and you can bend it once pretty easily. However, if you go back and try to bend it again, it gets mad at you and it will snap and break. So it's a little, on that scale, a little brittle. But it does flex. It actually works like a spring. When you have these set up properly, they can pivot real nice and gives a suspension to the track. It's really nice. So this is how I bring in this. These two are brought in, and these two will be brought in. So I color code them. Blue is on one side and white's on the other. So when you go to assemble your electronics, you bring these wires up. You come up here to your power distribution board, and you're going to have track on one side and track on the other side. And you want these two just to be the rear of that and the front of that. They come here because this will go into one side of a sine wave rectifier, and the other side comes in and goes to the other side, so you can't cross them or there'll be a short. And what this black thing does in there is it turns all of those signals into a DC. Instead of a wave, they become straight, a little ripply, but they're pretty much direct current. And then the direct current can be used to run other things. Here is a direct current regulator, so that it takes its DC, comes in here, and you can dial this down, up and down, and you can, because track power can be anywhere from 5 to 15 volts, right? Whatever you're doing with a transformer. Some devices can't take that. Some digital things like 5, some like 7, some like 10. So this allows you to adjust that output voltage so that it can never go to 15. If it can only take 5, it only sees 5. That keeps your digital stuff going. This train was built in the motor itself, I've seen motors as old as pre-war. Yes, 39, 40. So the electric motor on these things is old. Much of the other designs is really old. So you're talking about 50, 60-year-old stuff. They don't have digital reverse units like we do, right? And they don't have digital smoke either, or the sounds. So we have to deal with that. The other thing I've done, this is not a good one to show you, but this plastic piece here holds permanent magnets, arc magnets. This is the same armature and field set from a late 40s, 48, 49 engine, but I can turn it into a DC motor so it can run on the same signal that this digital device gets from here. So I have DC comes in here and it goes out there, but when it goes out there, it has forward and reverse, and it can go up and down in speed. Well, this motor likes DC when it has magnets, permanent magnets. It will run with the fields, but it's a little wired wound fields, but it's a little different. This works much smoother, and we have new things coming along the way that's going to make that even more exciting. But I just thought I'd fill you in on where we are and what's doing with the trucks, getting these side frames printed. Yeah, you can see a little more now. See if I can get this light. I got this really awesome light. Look at this light. Holy moly. From Harbor Freight, baby. Yeah. There you can see the shape of the arch at the bottom, and it's going to be a little bump in the center, and it's going to have the 3 lugs. So it's going to look a little bit like that. Okay? It's going to look like that, kinda. Not perfectly, but a little bit. Initially, it would be plain like this side here. It won't have the details, but all I'm doing right now is I'm going to make a full set to run on Leon's engine because I want to get his engine running on the right, the actual tender he's going to have, and get going and see how that works for us. Well, here you see how we attach a coupler or a connector of some kind. These have a little receptacle, and I push in a threaded insert. That's brass threads. So I push those threads in, and then you have the connector with a hole in it, and you can just screw that baby right in, and it's designed to be at the right height. Looks like it might be a little low. I might have to check that, but we will check everything. And then in this case, I had to put a notch in for his little cover shell. Here you see these holes. They're all to mount things in, okay? This is going to mount the Chuff soundboards. This is going to mount the two Buck boost boards, these guys. These holes here mount the motor controller. That board, we designed it, Andy did, and he put holes in. So I put the screw holes on here so we can just screw that right down. And then we have the last bit is the rectifier holder, and this is also the power distribution board. And so he screws down right there, and he fits into that square notch. So he's sort of located nice and tight. And I put two screws in. I had one. I put two in because I want him to stay up. Sometimes he'll tend to flex and get lazy, and I want him to stay up and away from all those parts. Because he's got some wires hanging down there. I don't want him touching any of that. So that's power distribution. That's the motor control. In here will be the single sound, Chuff sound, and above that and up in the air is a volt regulator. Now, what's happening on our engine over there, we have a speaker, right? Well, you may know that speaker is pretty big, and I sort of just put it like right there, right on the end. And it looks like this speaker here could fit on the end too. But I have to say, it's a pretty big speaker. I also have a speaker. This is one that I bought. It's a nice one. Fits in a nice box. Has a good buffer. So it could fit like that. It's a little wide, but it could fit like that. Then I had two others. I bought the speakers, and then I built the, what do they call that? A baffle, I guess. The speaker box for it. So I screw it down and tighten it up, and look at that. That could fit like that. It could fit like that. It could fit like that. So this speaker has good sound. I mean, this is a lot of bass, but when you hear it on the track, it's pretty noisy. You know, may or may not be. This is another one that I built, a little smaller than this one. So if we get into a smaller spot, this is shorter. It's shorter, but it's also deeper, so it still has decent sound. But we'll be testing all of these out to see which one works the best. And also the space up here is going to have room for a fan. I had a fan on that other one. I really like that idea. I'm debating if I want to make it a pusher or a puller. Maybe I want to pull the air through, you know, like put some vents up here and have the air flow through, like through your house where it picks up the heat and takes it out. These guys right now, the current hot box, we got to keep those guys cool if we can. Everything else has been tested and designed and improved to handle the heat. So those have been pretty good shape. These are just what they are. Oh, the one last piece I have to put in is that little diode blob for the relay on the puff and brake board. But we already tested puff and brake board from our engine, and we know we have the right signals on the engine, and the engine's looking pretty good. This is going to look pretty good too when I get to it. And I'm hoping one of these smaller speakers, I mean, I don't mind this one, it's just that it's so big, and it does get bassy. It gets a little boomy. And I can turn down the amplifier, but I hate to put in a big speaker and then turn the amp down. I'd be like, wow, the big engine, but you put two-barrel carburetor on it or something. Well, I can't wait to see these. I think they're going to look pretty awesome. I think we're going to have a pretty good beta-looking set, and I'll add some details as I go. Anyway, that was the idea. I just wanted to show you how we put things together, and if you guys consider it someday that I'm thinking that I could build these, put these in a bag and send them to you as a kit that you bolt together, you screw it together, you just assemble it. We can put all the wires together and everything, but putting the screws in and all that takes time, and my eyes are going on me, and I got a lot of things I'm not good at anymore, or at least I'm not as comfortable as I was. But boy, do these things rock and roll, don't they? They're gonna be nice, and they do roll. These are on bronze bushings. You just put a drop of oil on it, and boy, they'll spin forever. Should be nice. I got to build 2 more wheel sets. I have the wheels, but I have to cut the axles in half and build that part up. Just not a problem. And today is Tuesday, I think, so I'm pretty well on track. I'm going to have this thing. My goal is to have this ready Sunday night and box and send it to Leon. That's my goal. I'm working now on some parts over here. They're moved around. I don't know where they are now, but I got to space out his tender cover tricked me. He has no mounts in the back. He has mounts in the front, so I'm using those. I don't know if you can see holes in there or not, but hey, right there. I'm going to have to add a block. Here's what they look like, sorta. Okay, this thing. So I'm going to glue this block to the side of his, and that hole's going to line up with my mounting hole. And the funny thing was, it's narrower at the base than it is up here. They kind of come in and curl in. And I was checking them both, and it's like, yeah, they kind of want to do that. That's not a non-standard thing. So I'm going to spread them out just about 43 millimeters total. But that means I have to set this off about 1 millimeter out from the edge in order to reach this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt them on here at the right width, set this all up, and then I'm going to put some glue on those guys and then unscrew them, and then I'm going to really put the glue to them. So these are going to be mounting bosses inside his tender, and this is how you take the body off. That's how you resolve that when you don't have any place to mount anything. You just get some really good super glue, and I also have some UV cure glue I use for a bulk, like reinforcement adhesives. Oh yeah, we're cutting and a baling. Okay, that's it. I'll try to put these 2 together so you can see everything. I don't know what happened. I said I ran out of space. I don't know. Phone. Okay, later, folks. Tomorrow's another day.